What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. So today we're going to be taking a look at my preseason G5 top 25, which is essentially my preseason group of 5 top 10. But G5 top 25 just sounded a little more like top 25, so I like the way it sounded a little better. But let's go ahead and get into it here. Starting number 10, we have Fresno State. All right, so they were originally a little higher actually on this list, but their head coach recently retired, and he's actually put up some super good numbers across his career. So that was kind of giving them a little bit of a boost because of his, head coaching ability. Now, I think they still are going to be good offensively, but with the new head coach, I don't think it's going to be too much of a change, because there's just going to be a coordinator promoted to the interim for the time being. But without Tedford, I think it's going to be a little lower than I would usually rank Fresno State because their offense, like I said, Mikey Keene is going to be really explosive. I think they're going to be good. And I had them really close to the top 5 before this. I think they were number 6, but they bumped down once he retired. So moving on, number 9, UNLV. Really good year last season. Their head coach has proven he can win there. All right, if you do remember, he used to be the head coach at Missouri. And UNLV, I think their offense should be pretty good this year. They've got Ricky White at receiver. He's going to put up some seriously good numbers. If they can figure out the quarterback situation, that's going to help out a lot here. Now, I do bring in some good transfers. In particular, they bring in a quarterback from Holy Cross, which broke a lot of records in that division. So if that can translate to Division I, to the FBS level, I think their offense could be super explosive this year. All right, number 8, Boise State. That is admittedly probably a little low for a lot of people. I know they were, whenever I asked y'all, they were the odds-on favorite to make the college football playoff out of the G5. I'm a little skeptical on them, okay, because you backtrack the last year, you look at their schedule, how they did. They started off really slow. All right, they started off slow, finished strong. Once they fired their head coach and promoted Danielson to head coach, they kind of turned it on towards the end of there in conference play. So there is a chance. They do play Oregon pretty early on in the year, so we should be able to tell a little bit there. I don't think they'll be able to beat Oregon, but if they can keep it, within 20, probably I would say that's good. They've got Ashton Jeanty at running back. He's going to be an All-American candidate. They bring in Malachi Nelson from USC at quarterback. So they've got a lot of talent on offense with those two in the backfield. That's probably good enough to beat a lot of teams. And like I said, whenever they promoted Danielson, which is their head coach now last year, to the interim head coach, they went on a really good run. So if they can continue that run, it might be in store for another good year. Our number 7, Tulane, they're dealing with a head coaching change as well. So their head coach, Willie Fritz, took the Houston job. In comes John Summerall from Troy. He has proven at Troy that he can win a lot of ball games. Tulane, one of the best, G5 schools of recent memory. They have Makhi Hughes back at running back. So, they're going to be able to run the ball. John Summerall, like I said, he has won before and won a lot. So they've got a good head coach. They're in good hands there. They bring in Ty Thompson at quarterback, backup at Oregon. So you got some talent there as well. Offense is going to be talented. That conference is up for grabs. SMU is gone. Everybody's going to take a step back as well. UTSA, like their quarterback, Frank Harris, is gone. So it's really up for grabs with them and some of the other teams on this list. So Tulane could be in the thick of things. And if you think back to a couple years ago, they've been able to keep it close with a lot of schools, Kansas State, among others, as far as power schools that are actually good. Number 6, Miami of Ohio. I think they should win their conference this year. They should have a good, solid chance to go undefeated as well. They've got Blaine Gabbert's brother, at quarterback, Brett Gabbert. He's actually put up some really good numbers in the past previously. So I think with kind of the changes that have been made, Toledo lost a lot. I think they should win that conference probably and have a legitimate shot at, winning double-digit games. Number 5, USF South Florida. Gave Alabama a run last year. Actually played with them. They are on the come up. I will say that. Our Golish has got them playing really solid as of late. Byrum Brown at quarterback is talented enough to beat almost any G5 team by himself. They returned a ton of starters from last year. And like I said, with Tulane, the American Conference, AAC, is up for grabs. And South Florida definitely can compete in that conference. Definitely would not be surprised if they win it. Number 4, Texas State. So they benefit as well from another coaching change, not necessarily theirs, but James Madison, if you remember, was really good last year in the Sun Belt. they benefit from their coach, Kurt Signetti, going to Indiana because that led to, a lot of dominoes. Number one, James Madison lost a lot of players, but number two, they lost the all conference offensive player of the year, Jordan McLeod, which transferred to Texas State. So Texas State gets an instant boost. All right, they were good last season. In year one under GJ Kinney, they bring in McLeod to pair with the running back they already got, and Ishmael. Their running back and quarterback is going to make for that offense to be super explosive this season. And looking at their schedule, there's no reason Texas State can't go undefeated. Now, I don't know if they're necessarily going to make the playoff if they go undefeated, because you might be in like a situation where they didn't play anybody versus one of these teams that did play one team that was good and lost to them, So we'll see how that happens when it gets there, but there's no reason Texas State can't go undefeated. Number 3, Appalachian State. Pretty solid year last year. They've got Joey Aguilar back at quarterback. One of probably the top 15 quarterbacks in the nation, I would say. He can put up some seriously good numbers. And we'll see. They play a tough schedule. They play Clemson, I believe, and they also play a team we're about to talk about here in a second. So we're going to figure out pretty quickly how good they are. Our number 2, Liberty. Liberty last year was the G5 representative in the New Year Six Bowls. They've got Kaidon Salter back. They've got Quinton Cooley back at running back. So that backfield, that offense is going to be nice. Last year led the nation in rushing. Head coach Jamey Chadwell has proven, he can win a lot of ball games as well. Now, Kaidon Salter turned down, I think, an offer from Auburn in the transfer portal to come back to Liberty. So that means he probably thinks he has unfinished business there. They do play Appalachian State, so we'll see how that fares. The one thing with them when it comes to making the college football playoff, I wouldn't be shocked if they go undefeated, but is it going to hurt them last year making the playoff, kind of getting blown out and manhandled by Oregon when, one of these American Conference teams loses to a Power 4 conference school? Is that going to hurt Liberty in the long run? I don't know, but either way, they're going to be talented. They should have a legitimate chance to go undefeated again. All right, and number 1, I've got Memphis. That offense is going to be explosive this year. Seth Henigan is back at quarterback. I'd say he's probably arguably a top 10 quarterback in the nation. Memphis is pretty talented as well. They have brought in some nice transfers. They do play Florida State early on in the year, so we're going to know a lot about them pretty early as well. And I think they have a legitimate shot to beat Florida State. And like I've talked about with some of these teams, the American Conference is wide open. Memphis, though, returns kind of the most production from the American Conference, them and USF, because, SMU, like I said, is gone. UTSA loses a bunch. Tulane loses their head coach. So it's pretty up for grabs. But as of right now, that is my preseason G5 top 25. I will try to update this weekly along with, my complete top 25. So can some of these teams make that list? We'll find out. But who would you add to this list? Who would you take off? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.